right, welcome to Cornhusker Corner, where there's no place like
This podcast.
this podcast. As always, we're your host Blake and my brother
Brooks.
Brooks. All right, so I think before we get into the nitty gritty and the Husker stuff, I think we really have to have a moment of respect for the pirate, Mike Leach. That dude, for those who haven't heard yet, really, really terrible news. He's no longer with us. He had it was a heart attack, right?
Yeah, had a
Yeah.
massive heart attack. Supposedly a heart condition that he had been
hmm
dealing with lately. None of that's confirmed. I don't want to speculate too much, but yeah, he had a massive heart attack and put him in
Yeah.
critical condition. And so we had heard about it on Sunday,
Yeah.
and the whole college football world felt like the world just stopped spinning for a little bit
Yeah.
from everybody, because we all saw the news. And as college football fans are, we're really good at digging up information from every little corner of the internet. So we wanted to respect everybody, but I found myself putting in Mike Leach on the Twitter search bar and refreshing quite a bit, just because,
hmm
man, as that news started to develop, it just dawned on me. I was just like, man, this is, I mean, he was only 61.
hmm
Um, he had a heck
Yeah.
of a career. I
No,
mean, he
and I
was
don't think I don't think people understand what that like, especially people that are. I think we're the youngest generation. Like me, I think you are the youngest age range to where would really appreciate what he did for college football
Yep.
and football in general. There are offensive concepts that he created as a coach, right? That now the NFL is employing on a weekly basis, and they weren't doing the entire air raid system. Mike Leach is one of those people that helped bring the air raid to the mainstream and make it
hmm
successful.
hmm
There are people that are still trying to employ the air raid and couldn't be successful. Mike Leach was one of those people that he could take it anywhere and it would just be successful. He was just a great coach, not just for college football, but he was a guy that stood by his laurels, stood by his players. He was a great coach, great person, and the
Yeah, he changed
entire
the
college
game.
football world is
I
reeling right
watched
now.
I watched Joel Klatt's video yesterday or 2 days ago about it. I almost sent it to you. I forgot to. He summarized
Okay,
it
I saw it.
better than almost anybody else I saw. He he basically explained how the air raid was developed,
hmm
and how really it was developed as a way to compensate, as a way to get your system so watertight that it didn't matter what type of athletes you were working with, what other circumstances came up. You felt like you were going to win your battles
Yeah,
one on one. And a lot of what it was um, you would get up into a formation, and every single player would have a read based on the defense, and you could have number of route combinations and possibilities that could spring off of each individual formation and play. And I mean, one of the things that he said to Klatt was Klatt goes, hey coach, you've had crazy running numbers this year for a Leach team. Is that something we're going to see going forward? And Mike Leach looks at Joel and he goes, Joel, you know me better than that. Every single play I call is a pass play. If it ends up being a run play, it's because the quarterback checked into that. So he literally just said to Joel, I don't call run plays. It sounds kind of like Mark Whipple, honestly.
yeah.
Yeah, but Mike Leach was a mainstay. Look, we have a college football family, right? We've
hmm
pretty much grown up watching football, and he's a mainstay year in and year out in the zeitgeist of college football
hmm
conversation. It seems like every single year there's a new quote, there's a new story. And he changed the game. He changed the
Yeah,
game. There's not a whole lot of people that you can say that about, that they
no,
changed the game of football. I mean, he came in and when he was really developing that air raid concept in the mid to late 90s, football was completely different than it
hmm
is today. Like referencing the Joel Klatt video again, and Joel referenced three main college proponents of change there, and number one being Chip Kelly's offense at Oregon, helped usher in that new age. Number two was Vince Young, the dual threat ability at Texas, and it got everybody, oh my God, if we have a quarterback that's an athlete, and that changed the game. And then the other big pinnacle, or the other big part of it was Mike Leach and his air raid offense in Texas Tech. And we both remember. I remember I was watching it on the big screen downstairs in our old house in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
The one of the greatest, I'll still say, I probably wouldn't put it at number one, but it's up there. It's one of the greatest college football games of all time. 2008, Texas Tech, Texas at Texas Tech. Dark night in the middle of the West Texas desert. And the great story about the Michael Crabtree, the famous Michael Crabtree play, is that Lincoln Riley was a staffer on that Tech team, and early on in the year, Mike Leach felt like they weren't good enough at their go ball, and so he gets them to practice one day, and he says, "Well, today we're going to do nothing but run go balls." And so for the whole day in practice, go ball after go ball, every wide receiver streaking down the field 40, 45 yards, go ball. And by the end of the day, they had to have run, 3 or 4 miles of go balls. And some of the coaches were getting concerned. And Mike Leach just looked at him and said, look, we're going to get into a situation where our back's against the wall and we're going to need to make a play. And it's going to be a go ball that we're going to have to make a play with. I want us to be really good at it. And what was the play with Michael Crabtree? 4 verticals, go ball. And he was just a genius. He was a mad genius. Brings a tear to my eye, truly, because he impacted the sport a lot, and a great guy, and you can tell afterwards, you can really tell how much of an impact he had on everybody. I mean, he was never a coach of a team I really rooted for.
No.
You know what I mean? He was never a coach, but I always rooted for him.
Yeah.
This was one of my favorite sort of Mike Leachisms. He was at a press conference, and he's explaining how to do a shuffle pass. It's one of my favorite ones. Let me just show it to y'all.
All right.
Okay, now the trouble is it's got to be your offhand. So you go like this. You go like this. Look, everybody, I'm passing the ball. And then at the last second, and this is key, you turn your thumb down. You just hold the football, turn your thumb, and all you have to do is this. Here, I'll show you.
That's a great way. That's a great place to stop it. Love that guy.
So as far as the people that only listen, he slowly putting his thumb.
Oh man, he was one of a kind. I never got the opportunity to play college football because I was undersized. I wasn't good enough. But if I had been good enough, you best believe I would have tried to play for the Pirate, because he was a hell of a coach. So rest in peace, Mike Leach. Definitely. Yeah. Prayers go out to that whole community and his family.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move on